Hey everybody, Beardo Dude here with a quick look at the new equipment update. The developers have been hard at work to provide a small patch to tide us over while they continue development of the global map mode, the new city of Bryn, and other new encounters. The new update includes traps, throwing, skinning, and 2 new weapon trees along with new equipment, so let's get into it. Throwing. While unexpected, the developers have implemented a new functionality that I've seen requested countless times in the Discord server and on Reddit. You can throw any item in the game, but the distance thrown, the amount and type of damage depends on the weight and make of the item thrown. Throwing an acorn will only be good for distraction, while something heavy like antlers will result in heavier damage. Certain items have unique properties as well. Throwing a potion at an enemy will apply its effects for a quarter of its normal duration. Clay and glass items will shatter into pieces, dealing piercing damage. Breaking bottles of alcohol or oil on an enemy will increase their flammability, which will prove useful for pyromancers. Heavy items can trigger claw traps or pressure plates. The varying weight and material of an item will cause varying amounts of noise to alert enemies. Weapons are more complicated in their throwing damage. Light axes and daggers are ideal for throwing, while swords, maces, and two-handed weapons will not deal much damage. The damage is dependent on weapon balance, which is a combination of weight and its general aerodynamic properties. Keep in mind that throwing weapons will drain their durability faster than normal use. Character stats also influence throwing damage, with strength deciding distance and hit chance determined by perception and agility. The developers state that throwing is only meant to be a supplementary combat mechanic with no planned skill tree. They openly challenge us to beating the game with throwing only by claiming it is unlikely that we can do it. Challenge run incoming. Harvesting meat and pelts. In the game, killing animals has always had a percentage chance to drop pelts and meat. This has now been replaced with a new skill that allows you to skin animals if you have a sharp weapon equipped. The new skill is starting off as a basic skill with 100% efficiency, but will be put in the survival skill tree eventually, meaning you'll need to spend skill points to use it successfully. The means of taking down the animal will play a big factor in your ability to harvest resources from it. The best outcomes are from piercing damage, while slashing damage is much worse. Pyromancy results in the pelts getting burned up and useless, but will instantly cook the meat for you. Other damage types like poison, caustic, and curse damage might cause the meat to spoil. Another big thing to keep in mind is that the market in-game has been adjusted to the difficulty of acquiring pelts, making it much more worthwhile for farming money. Traps. Pressure plate traps come in 2 variants, one that will cause heavy fire damage upon triggered, the other creating a miasma of poisonous gas that will slowly fill the surrounding area. The gas causes poison damage with the chance of afflicting you with violent coughing, which reduces accuracy, increases fumble chance, and generates a lot of noise. These are dungeon traps, but what about the ones we can wield? Claw traps do exactly what you expect them to do. They can now be disarmed and stored in your inventory. Caltrops can be thrown in front of approaching enemies. Nets will help with dodge heavy foes, except for wraiths, of course. Lastly, we get smoke bombs. These function similarly to the poison traps and will ruin the line of sight for archers, causing similar effects to the pressure plate. Two-handed maces. And now on to the main attraction of the update, one of the 2 new weapon skills, nearly filling out the entire section of the weapon trees, minus wands. Like other two-handed weapon trees, there are 10 skills total, 5 passive and 5 active. Two-handed maces focus on stuns, dazes, knockbacks, and debuffs while dealing large amounts of damage at the cost of speed. Characters with starting affinity for two-handed maces are Arna and Velmir. Mighty Swing is a buff that is meant to synergize well with the other skills in the tree. It provides bonus weapon, armor, and body part damage with extra stun chance on the next turn. Unstoppable Force is similar to Staff and Greatsword skills. This one deals damage on 3 adjacent tiles with a large bonus to knockback chance and armor damage. For each enemy you knock back, you'll get a reduction to skills energy costs for the next 2 turns. Mighty Swing comes into effect by forcing knockback enemies' abilities to go on cooldown. Skull Crusher lets you perform a 1-tile dash much like Mutilating Lunge in the Axe Tree, but grants a bonus stun chance and body part damage. Mighty Swing being active will also burn a percentage of the target's energy equal to the percentage of their messing health. The stance-based skill named Slaughter grants bonus crit and knockback chance, reduces skill energy costs, and increases armor penetration with each stack. Also, like Feast of Steel, it guarantees a critical hit on the 3rd strike. An active Mighty Swing will cause you to deliver an additional strike to a random adjacent enemy. The final active ability is called Forceful Slam. You mark a tile, skipping a turn to deal a strike with big bonus to crit chance and damage dealt for each remaining turn of daze, immobilization, or stun affecting the target. Mighty Swing causes the skill to also weaken the enemy occupying the marked tile, applying them with extra damage taken and reducing their control and move resistances. Other passive skills are listed on screen and vary in what they do. One of them will automatically grant Mighty Swing, while others will reduce enemy resistances, dodge chance, and or armor durability depending on the type of blow dealt to the enemy, and can also restore energy upon killing the enemy. Two-handed axes. The same as two-handed maces, this skill tree consists of 10 skills total, 5 passive and 5 active. The focus of the skill tree is the same as one-handed axes, looking at damage, bleeding, and obliterating body parts. Characters with starting affinity for two-handed axes are Derwin, Velmir, and Jorgrum. The first skill is called Wide Cut, which performs a strike with bonus weapon damage and armor damage and causes injuries to 3 separate body parts upon a successful hit. Dismember performs a strike to a random body part that already has a minor or medium injury with a huge bonus to body part damage and crit chance. If it worsens an injury or causes a new one, it will cause bleeding and the target will lose 9% of their health. Rain in Blood performs a strike which prolongs active enemy cooldowns by 1 turn for each injury and 20% missing health affecting the enemy. It also has a chance to cause bleeding, which will grant 5% energy restoration to yourself for each bleeding effect caused. Rampage is the stance-based skill for the tree, granting stacking bonuses to crit efficiency, bleed chance, body part damage, and reducing cooldowns. Like two-handed maces and other two-handed weapons, it grants a bonus damage equal to 15% of the target's health on the 3rd attack. Make Space performs a strike on 3 adjacent targets with bonus damage for each degree of injury affecting them. If at least one of the enemy is killed, a second strike is performed on the same area. Passive abilities grant additional body part damage, weapon damage, crit chance, all based on different conditions. They can also reduce block chance and power of targets. All are listed on screen. Additional changes. What would an equipment update be without additional equipment? The developers have obviously teased the new two-handed weapons, but they have also shown new body armor as well as boots, belts, gloves. There's even a helmet for No Neck Bird. Aside from equipment, the developers have also added an additional mechanic called hearing, which allows you to see a question mark where the fog of war is blocking your vision to know where enemies are. There are also 2 new NPCs that have been added to the game. Bran the Trapper, who travels between Osbrook and Manshire selling various hunting gear and other combat consumables and items like that. There's also Unar the Scribe. He is found in the Manshire castle upon completing 3 Osbrook contracts where you gain access to the castle, and he sells every single treatise. There are also 20 new enemy types, including 7 new mini-bosses, some of which utilize the new weapon trees. There are also additional new consumables that you can use for combat, which are very potent and are considered narcotic substances. They will provide powerful buffs for a short period of time, but will come with a cost of a long and painful aftermath. There's a new Manshire Crypt contract. There's additional flora, which includes 6 berry shrubs, 1 new mushroom type, and 1 new herb type called wormwood. Before going into other changes, it is important to note that while this version is compatible with the previous version's saves, you should probably start a new playthrough, as some of the items in your inventory will not be tweaked as they have been, and also the new contract will not spawn when playing from an old save file. There's also a new stat called Stagger Chance. Landing Stagger will reduce crit, counter, dodge, and block chance to 0 and increase fumble chance to 100%. There have also been a number of balance changes, which include the primary attributes being rebalanced as seen on screen. Another big one is some changes to the Ancient Troll, that being that its accuracy has been dropped from 100 to 90%. The Troll's armor has been decreased to 50, and experience granted on death was increased to 20%. On top of that, his notorious deafening roar attack will actually not crit both stun and disarm. It will do one or the other. First, there's a 25% chance to disarm, then there's a 75% chance to stun, and if neither of those procs, then a 100% chance to daze. There have also been changes to abilities, including swords, maces, a number of two-handed sword changes, daggers, staffs, shields, pyromancy, geomancy, combat mastery, which reduces the number of stacks for Seize the Initiative, maximum of 5 instead of 6. There's also a change to the tactics, also athletics. Dual wielding saw a large change in that not only is it 3 treaties instead of 4, but they also have moved the tree around from what it was and changed pretty much all of the skills in the tree. Spears have also been changed. Onward. So what's next after this update? All of these changes are cool, but the map is still the same size. How is this a content update when all the dungeons and quests remain the same? Your potential frustration is understandable, but the developers have been focused on building out a global map mode and introducing new territories, dungeons, and quests. This includes the rumored city of Bryn, which will be comprised of 4 separate tiles compared to the meager 1-tile towns of Osbrook and Manshire. The update will also introduce rivers, lakes, and swamps, as well as setting up the beginnings of the greatly desired caravan system. The developers have stated that the next update won't be until Q2 of 2021, so we'll likely have to wait until at least April of next year for this massive update. Stay tuned to this channel, as I will always provide new updates as they come and let y'all know what progress is being made as we get closer to the City of Gold update. What's your favorite part of this update? Are you unimpressed and feel the developers should be focused on expanding the map? What do you look forward to the most in the future? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe for more Stoneshard content in the future. I also have a Twitch channel where I live stream Stoneshard as well as other games. There's also a link to my Discord server in the description. I can answer any and all questions you have about the game, and there's also a channel on the Discord with a list of items that you can clone from the game. Until next time, peace.